Hey, today I want to share the topic of self-imposed limitations. I want to talk about what self-imposed limitations are, how they impact our life, and what we can do to begin shifting them. A self-imposed limitation is a barrier or a glass ceiling or a limit that you deliberately place, consciously or unconsciously, upon yourself that narrows your playing field or narrows your access to actually what is possible. Think about that for a second. Where in your life are you not achieving what you would like to achieve? Think about that for a second. As you reflect on that particular area of your life, and goodness knows we all have them, even those of us who are manifesting, we still have to grow. And wherever we haven't grown yet, it's due to a self-imposed limitation. So when you reflect on that particular area of your life, know this. Know that whatever it is that you're not achieving in that area that you would like to at this time, bearing in mind that what you would like to achieve in that same area 2 years from now would be greater. But right now, you're not in a place to access what that goal would be because you have something before that that needs to be achieved. So when you look at that particular area of your life and what you're not accessing at that particular level of growth, it's only because of a limitation that you have set for yourself. Let's say, for example, you said you wanted to be a millionaire and you're a millionaire. And now it's time for you to goal becoming a multimillionaire or even a billionaire, but you can't get there. The reason why you can't get there, or the reason why you haven't gotten there, or you can't action that reality, is because you have a self-imposed limitation. Think about that ideal lover, that mate, that perfect person that you've been waiting for, that has not come into your life at this particular moment. You may feel that you're open to them because you wish that they were in your life, but have you taken the time to think about what it is that's stopping that from flowing into your life? Trust me, it is another self-imposed limitation. The peculiar thing about these self-imposed limitations is that they are almost a product of our experience, our social conditioning, the social programming that we're a part of, the media that continues to put out the type of propaganda that supports our imposed limitations. It could be authority figures in our lives, people that we trust, people that we're around that give us advice. Most people who function at a lower level of what they are actually capable of, if you're around those kind of people on a regular basis, it's going to be kind of hard for you to get out of that almost set point unless you make an effort to strive out of it. So these can be some of the reasons why you have these self-imposed limitations. But the beauty of them is that the same way that you impose them is the same way that you can get out of them. The beauty is that with a self-imposed limitation, it doesn't really exist. It's an illusion in your mind that you have bought into, that you think is real, that you actually hold into place day in and day out. And the self-imposed limitation in and of itself sets a barrier, or it contracts what is actually able to get into your life, what is actually able to flow into your life. We have something called the reticular activating system, okay? The reticular activating system serves as a sort of filter, and you can look at this in a lot of different ways. I'm going to address it from a scientific point of view right now. It functions as a filter to all of the onslaught of information that is coming in through your senses in any given moment. In any given moment, let's say within a second, your brain is processing upwards of 4 million bits of information every second. And it's really more than that. If your brain is processing that much information every second, right, you would actually be overstimulated. The nervous system would be in a state of breakdown because it would be too much stimulation. And so it has to filter out what gets in. And what does it filter out? It filters out anything that doesn't look like it matches up with, resonates with, or belongs with what is already the predominant vibration of what you entertain on a regular basis. So in other words, it's only going to let in the stuff that affirms the falsehoods and the self-imposed limitations that you already have, until you begin to deliberately and consciously introduce something different. You're going to continue to get the same thing. Think about it like this. When you decided on that particular car that you wanted to buy, okay, you thought that that car was maybe a rarity or one of the few of its type. But when you bought that car, or when you started shopping for that car and started paying attention to it, all of a sudden you started seeing many more of the same cars, right? It could be, you could apply that same concept to a type of clothing or a pair of shoes or anything in your reality that you want. Once you begin to pay attention to it, whatever you focus on expands, right? So once you begin to pay attention to it, suddenly it begins to come into your reality, right? Not because it was never there, but it's because you are paying attention to it. So this is the same concept if you think about it. Once you start to pay attention to anything in your life, you can then start to bring that thing into your life because that thing is already available to you. So see this as not something that you have to chase. It is simply something that you have to allow into your reality. And that concept that I just demonstrated to you should be very helpful in helping you to realize that, because the other shift that needs to take place is this whole notion that, you know what, I'm not trying to bring in something that doesn't exist. I'm only trying to allow myself access to what is already around me. In other words, I already have access to this. This is already in my reality, whether it be money, people, travel, health, a particular job opportunity, an entrepreneurial pursuit, whatever it is. So this is really, really, really critical. And I want you to really dig into that. And I want you to really see if you can make sense of what that means. So these self-imposed limitations are the weeds in your beautiful garden. And the same way that new weeds and specific weeds come up around certain types of gardens is the same way that when you're at a certain level of your growth, certain kind of weeds and self-imposed limitations will need to be identified and uprooted. And when you move to even greater levels of growth, new self-imposed limitations will come in that actually need to be uprooted. So ask yourself, what in my garden do I need to pull? What weeds do I need to uproot out of the ground so that my garden may flourish and so that I may rise to the top? Because this is really as easy as it is. First, you must realize that you have self-imposed limitations. Then you must look at an area of your life that you are dissatisfied with, or multiple areas of your life that you're dissatisfied with. And you must identify the self-imposed limitations that are holding you down. And once you shine the light of awareness on something, okay? Once you shine the light in a dark room, what happens? The light comes in, right? It's not as dark anymore, right? So once you begin to look at something, you actually set into motion a series of events and circumstances that move you closer to your ideal. So the first step, or a critical step in the process, is to look at the imposed limiting belief, or to identify it, to look at it, to see how it's affecting your life, and then to root it out. And how do you root it out? You root it out with a combination of the words that you speak, the thoughts that you think, the beliefs that you have, the emotions around it, okay? And the actions that you begin to take that begin to resonate with the idea that this is no longer a limitation for me, okay? I am good enough. I can have anything that I want. And you go out there and you begin to live in the vibration that sends out a signal or a frequency that everything else that you want is actually available to you. Now, believe it or not, casting these doubtful beliefs or these self-imposed limitations isn't always as easy as some people try to make it out to be, because these things are very much ingrained in the very fabric of your reality. You have believed these things for long periods of time. You have worshiped them as a reality. So sometimes, not sometimes, almost all the time, it takes a series of repetitive acts. It takes mindfulness. It takes vigilance. It takes self-belief. It takes looking at yourself and monitoring your thoughts, actions, and the ways that you feel on a constant basis to see where it is that self-imposing belief or that self-imposed limitation is actually still in your energy field, and beginning to root it out by turning it upside down on its head, by being courageous, by leaning into fear, by taking inspired action, by negating negativity and inertia in your life. It takes all of these things, okay? So I hope that this video has helped you to first identify what a self-imposed limitation is, some of the ways that they hide in our lives and mask themselves as reality, and then also a few ideas about how you can get these things out of your life and begin to shine the light of awareness on them. I am Tanisha Ali, connecting you to the vision of who you truly are and unleashing your divine feminine spirit. Okay, I help women to get clear, to up-level their mindsets, to heal emotional and energetic blocks, and to manifest abundance. I'm getting you out of your cocoon and into your wings, perfect people and beautiful butterflies. Have a wonderful day. Have a peaceful day. Have a prosperous day. Have a day where you uproot your self-imposed limitation.